Good day everyone, welcome to English 3230 Campus Journalism. So I am Melvin Tadeo together with Sophia Rabanillo, Jammy Cuevas, and Shamel Gregorio. So we are from BSED English 31D. And our topic for today is all about copyreading and headline writing. Before we start, I'll give you a background or definition about copyreading and headline writing in general. So copyreading and headline writing are essential parts of journalism and in publishing. It ensures, of course, accuracy, clarity, and engagement in written content. Before we start, we have prepared a short question about copyreading and headline writing that you may answer. Of course, not now, but you can put your comments or answer in the comment section below if you have that. So the question is copy editing still necessary when Spellcheck is readily available? Do we still need to condense headlines when fonts can be resized constantly? So as we all know, we are now living in the 21st century where everything can be answered or can be done in just one click. So now, we have Spellcheck, we have Grammarly, we have Killbot to easily correct our grammar or grammatical errors, the phrases, the sentences. So we just put our output there, and in just a second, it will correct easily the misspelled or the sentences. And of course, in making headlines, we have AI tools like ChatGPT. So we just write or type our news, and then it can easily generate headlines. So what is the purpose now of studying this copyreading and headline writing if we have tools that can generate easily a headline and can easily correct those terminologies or those sentences or news that we produce? So that is the question that you may or must answer in this content or in this video. Before we move on to our discussion, let me tell you some of the lesson content of this lesson, of course. So in copyreading, we have definition and purpose, qualities of a good copyreader. So what are those qualities? And we have the 10 commandments of copyreaders, the symbols and marks in copyreading or the copyreading symbols. We have the common errors in articles. In headline writing, we have, of course, the definition and importance of headline writing, the characteristics of a good headline writing, a good headline, I should say, the types of headlines. We have also the headline writing guidelines. Now let's proceed to copyreading, and to further discuss that, we have Sophia Rabanillo. Sophia, take it over.
Good day everyone! I am Sophia Bianca Rabanillo, and in this part, I will discuss the definition and purpose of copyreading, qualities of a good copyreader, 10 commandments for copyreaders, and the symbols and marks in copyreading. First is the definition and purpose. As defined by Cabigon 2017, copyreading is another word for editing using appropriate copyreading symbols. It is the process of reviewing and correcting written content before it is published. In simple terms, copyreading helps ensure that the content is polished and free from mistakes. So what do you call the person responsible for editing and refining written material? They are called the copyreaders or the copy editors. Next is the purpose of copyreading. First and foremost, it ensures that written content is clear, accurate, and easy to understand. This makes the article correct and easy to read for the audience. Secondly, it helps writers effectively communicate their ideas to readers. Readers can easily grasp the message without confusion or misinterpretation. Another is, it maintains the credibility and professionalism of a publication or organization. Well-edited content builds trust and a good reputation for the publisher. Next, it prevents errors that could mislead or confuse readers. Mistakes can change the meaning of a text and spread false information. Another is, it enhances the overall quality of writing by refining language and structure. A well-structured and properly worded article is more engaging and effective. Next, copyreading protects against legal issues by removing false or harmful statements. Inaccurate or offensive content can lead to lawsuits or public backlash. Lastly, it preserves the reputation of the writer, publication, or institution. A well-edited article reflects professionalism and careful attention to detail. Let's move on to the qualities of a good copy reader. This is adopted from Copyreading and Headline Writing presented by Ronald R. Cabigon during the 11th National Conference of Spam Incorporated. So what are these qualities that a copy reader must embody? 1. A passion for and a deep knowledge of grammar, spelling, punctuation, and usage. Knowing language rules helps in spotting and fixing errors quickly. Second, a love of good writing and the ability to see its potential. A copy reader should recognize strong writing and improve weak parts without changing the original style. Number 3, skepticism that raises doubt in everything and fortitude to check it. A good editor questions information and verifies facts instead of assuming they are correct. Number 4, self-confidence to know how to improve even a veteran reporter's copy. They should trust their skills in making any article better, regardless of the writer's experience. Number 5, invisible. A good copy reader's personality or style is not seen in the article. The goal is to refine the text without altering the writer's unique way of expressing ideas. 6. Knowledge of journalistic conventions. Understanding different writing styles ensures proper editing based on the type of article. 7. Ability to recall style rules. Remembering standard writing and formatting guidelines helps maintain consistency. And last, an eye for detail. Small errors can affect the meaning, so a good copy reader must be highly observant. Next, we have the 10 Commandments for copy readers. This is adopted from the book Tricks of Trade for Writers and Editors. These following 10 commandments are all self-explanatory. But remember, even though you have the qualities that I have talked just a while ago, these commandments are like strict rules you must follow when you copy read an article. Number 1, you shall not change the author's meaning. Number 2, you shall not introduce new errors. More importantly, you shall not change something correct to something incorrect. Number 3, you shall not change anything except to improve it. Number 4, you shall just focus on your work and do precisely what is expected of you. Number 5, you shall honor and obey those in charge of you. Number 6, you shall mark clearly and write your corrections legibly. Number 7, you shall protect the copy from rain, hail, wind, coffee, children, pets, and all things that are damaging. Number 8, you shall meet deadlines. Number 9, you shall assume nothing but should seek answers to all that is doubtful or unspecified. And last but not the least, you shall read and study language continually. Let us now explore the most common used symbol and marks in copy reading. First is the delete. When this symbol is used over a letter or word, this means that the element is to be removed. Second, spell out. For the sake of clarity or consistency, sometimes it is necessary to spell out the abbreviations. Next, space. This symbol shows that there should be a space space between elements that we have missed. Next, insert. When a word or a phrase is missing, the symbol will be used to show where the word should be added in the sentence. Next is transpose. Sometimes when we write, our brains can get flustered, causing us to put the words in the wrong order. This symbol will show which elements should be switched. Parents. In a passage, parenthesis is added to give further explanation and information. Close up. It's very easy to miss extra spaces in a piece of writing. The close-up space symbol can be used to remove those unnecessary spaces. Lowercase. Consistency in lowercase is just as important as capitalization. Quotation marks. The use of quotation marks can show if the marked word or sentence is either a dialogue or slang or a part of a dialogue. Capitalize. Capitalization is very important. It shows the start of a sentence, important words in a sentence, and more. This symbol will remind the writer that the word should be capitalized. Comma. Commas are crucial in dividing sentences. This symbol will show where the comma should be placed. Period. The most obvious symbol of them all. These are the compilation of the symbols and marks used in copyreading with definitions and examples. You may pause to take notes or just screenshot it. That's all for my part, and the next slide will be about the common errors in articles and will be discussed by Shamel Gregorio.
So good day everyone, I am Shamel Gregorio. Now I will discuss the common errors in articles as well as the steps in copyreading. Let's begin with the common errors in articles. First is the grammar and syntax. Grammar and sentence structure are the backbone of clear communication. Without them, our message gets confusing or misleading. Example errors. First is the subject-verb agreement mistakes. The subject and verb in a sentence must match in number, singular or plural. If the subject is singular, then the verb is singular. For example, let's take a look at the incorrect one. The team are winning. Even though team sounds plural because it's a group, it's treated as singular here. So the correct one is the team is winning. A quick tip, ask yourself, is the subject one thing or more than one? That helps you pick the correct verb. Second is misplaced modifiers. A modifier is a word or phrase that describes something. If you put it in a wrong place, it can confuse the sentence. So for example, she nearly drove her kids to school every day. The sample sentence is incorrect because it sounds like she almost drove them but didn't. Now let's have a look at the next example. She drove her kids to school nearly every day. The example is correct because it's clear she drives them often, just not daily. A quick tip, place modifiers close to the word they describe. Let's move to the spelling and punctuation. Small errors here can completely change what a sentence means. So the common mistakes first is the confusing homophones. Words that sound the same but are spelled differently. So the common mix-up is the there and the there. There with the THEIR indicates possession or belonging to a group, while the there, which is the THERE, refers to a place or location. Second is the apostrophe misuse. For example, it's a beautiful day. The sentence is incorrect because it's without apostrophe is a possessive pronoun like his or hers indicating ownership or belonging, while it's with apostrophe is contraction of it is or it. So the correct use is it's a beautiful day with apostrophe. The third is the missing or extra commas. Commas can save lives. Let's take a look at the example. First is the let's eat grandma. The second one is let's eat grandma. As we can see, without the comma, it sounds like you're about to eat your grandmother. Let's move to the next one is the factual accuracy. Facts build your credibility. If you give wrong info, readers lost trust. So always verify facts using reliable sources before publishing. So what to watch out for? First is the wrong dates or number. Let's take a look at the examples. The first one is the Philippines have 7,107 islands. The other one, the Philippines have The Philippines has 7,641 islands according to National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. With that being said, it is essential to always check for updated information. Facts change over time. Second is misquoting people. If someone said, "We're adding more classroom," don't change it to "they're adding a new building." Reminder, always quote exactly or paraphrase carefully without changing the meaning. Next is redundancies and wordiness. Eliminating redundancy and keeping sentences concise improves readability and ensures the message is clear and direct. Good writing is clear and concise. Don't waste words. So example of wordy phrases and their simpler version. First, instead of saying "at this moment in time," you can just simply say "now." Instead of saying "due to the fact that," you can just simply say "because." Instead of saying "in the event of," you can just simply say "if." So example in a sentence, due to the fact that he was late, he missed the meeting. So instead of using "due to the fact," we can simply state "because he was late, he missed the meeting." With this, shorter sentences are easier to read and understand. Now let's move to the steps in copyreading by Pinky Q. Rivera. Copyreading is the process of checking an article for errors before it's published. It's like being the article's final defense. So first, read the whole article first. Figure out what kind of story it is. It is a news, feature, or editorial. Like, is it a breaking news or a human interest story? Second, identify the lead paragraph. This should give readers the most important info. Example, in a fire story, the lead could be "a fire razed 5 houses in Quezon City last night." Third, take note of errors in fact. Check on the accuracy of the statements and information. Verify names, dates, and numbers. Example, confirm the spelling of the mayor's name or the correct death toll. Fourth one is read the story again and mark all paragraph beginnings. Then check for the grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Mark mistakes using copyreading symbol like caret for insertions. Fifth, improve the story's organization. Make sure the lead paragraph grabs attention. Rearrange paragraph if needed so the story flows logically. 6. Go over the whole story again and remove unnecessary or irrelevant details. For example, don't mention the color of the suspect's shoes unless it is important. 7. Check the length. Article should fit the assigned space. You can trim it if necessary without losing important info. 8. Write a catchy headline. Example, instead of "fire in Quezon City," try "5 homes lost in Quezon City blaze." 9. Mark the copy for the printer. Indicate font size, type, column, width, etc. 10. Encircle the slug line. This is a short line like "fire QZ" and the reporter's name. 11. End pages with full paragraphs. Don't cut a paragraph between pages. 12. Write more at the bottom if it continues. Example, at the end of page 1, write more to show it continues on the next page. 13. Label the second page. First, add, end the slug. For example, first add "fire QC." 14. End the story with 30 or hashtag and encircle it. This marks the end of the article. 15. And the last one is retype messy copies if time allows. If you've made a lot of corrections by hand, it's better to type a clean version. Copyreading is one of the most important steps in journalism. It's the process that makes sure every article is accurate, clear, and free from errors before it reaches the public. Without proper copyreading, mistakes in grammar, spelling, facts, and structure can easily slip through. These mistakes may seem small, but they can have a big consequences. Now let's have the next reporter, Miss Jammy Cuevas.
Hello everyone, I am Jammy Cuevas and I will discuss to you the headline writing. So first, what is a headline? So a headline is a concise and compelling phrase that summarizes the main idea of a news article, picture, or editorial. It serves as the first impression for readers, engaging them to read further, especially in online. A good headline is crucial because it attracts attention, conveys the essence of the story, and drives engagement, ultimately improves content visibility. Now, let's talk about what makes a good headline. So, a great headline follows four key characteristics, which are the accuracy, brevity, clarity, and impact. First is accuracy. It is a headline that must reflect the truth. It should not mislead or exaggerate. Imagine a news story about a new government financial aid program. If the headline says, government to give every citizen 10,000 pesos, but in reality, it's only for low-income families. That's inaccurate. A more accurate headline would be government to provide 10,000 pesos aid to low-income families. Accuracy builds trust between the writer and the readers. Next is brevity. So brevity is a headlines that should be short and straight to the point. Readers don't want to waste time on long, complicated headlines. For example, instead of writing, the Department of Education has announced that it will provide pre-senior high school tuition for all students. We can make it more concise with DepEd announces pre-senior high tuition. The message is clear but in fewer words. Next is clarity. So a headline should be easy to understand at first glance. If readers have to guess what the story is about, the headline is unclear. For example, a big headline like Big News for Drivers doesn't tell us anything specific. Instead, a clear headline would be LTO extends driver's license validity to 10 years. Now, we know exactly what the story is about. And lastly is impact. So a great headline grabs attention. It makes people curious, emotional, or feel a sense of urgency. For example, single-use plastic ban starts next month. Are you ready? This headline creates a sense of urgency, making readers more likely to engage with the story. Now, let's look at the different types of headline. Each type serves a different purpose in journalism. First is the straight news headline. So this type directly states the main point of the news in a factual and concise way. There's no creativity or wordplay, just the facts. For example, government approves new tax policy. This headline is clear and informative, telling us exactly what happened. Second is feature headlines. So feature headlines are used for lifestyle and human interest stories. These are more creative and engaging. For example, a journey through the world's most enchanting village. Unlike a straight news headline, this one is designed to draw the reader with curiosity and imagery. Next is editorial headlines. So, editorial headlines express an opinion or take a stance on an issue. For example, why we must act now on climate change. This headline invites discussion and tells the reader that the article will present an argument or perspective. Next is the question headline. So, this type asks a question to spark curiosity and encourage readers to seek answers in the article. For example, is social media changing the way we think? By asking a question, this headline makes the reader want to find out more. And lastly is the quotation headline. So this type uses a direct quote from a person related to the story. For example, this is just the beginning, says new champion. So a quote headline makes the story feel more engaging and personal. Now, let's go over some key rules to follow when writing headlines. So first, summarize the story. So a headline should give the main idea of the article. So we have one wrong example and correct example of these guidelines. So the correct version tells the reader exactly what the article is about. Second is avoid articles or, for example, the a, on, and the. Removing articles makes a headline more concise. For example, with article, the new iPhone launches today, and without article, new iPhone launches today. So both are correct, but the second one is shorter and more direct. Next is avoid conjunctions or the and, but, and or. So instead of conjunctions, use commas to separate ideas. For example, with conjunction, MMDA clears roads and eases traffic in EDSA. Without conjunction, MMDA clears roads, eases EDSA traffic. This keeps the headline more streamlined. Next is use active voice. So active voice makes headlines stronger and more direct. For example, in passive, new law passed by Congress, and in active, Congress passes new law. Active voice makes the headline more engaging. Next is use present tense. So even for past events, headlines should be written in present tense. For example, in wrong, scientists discovered new planet, and incorrect, scientists discover new planet. So present tense makes the news feel more immediate and relevant. Next is be concise and precise. So a headline should not include unnecessary words. For example, new government program created to help students with their academic studies. It is a worthy headline, while the concise one is new program helps students succeed. The shorter version is just as informative but easier to read. Next is do not use periods. So, headlines do not need periods at the end. For example, COMELEC extends voter registration deadline with a period. The correct one is COMELEC extends voter registration deadline. So, leaving out the period makes the headline look cleaner.
Thank you, Jamie, for sharing us those guidelines. And now, I'll give you another set of guidelines when it comes to headline writing. The first one is don't use unidentified pronouns. Using unidentified pronouns like he, she, or they can confuse your readers. Always be clear about who you're referring to. Let's look at an example. The wrong one is he wins the US presidential elections. And if we correct that, Donald Trump wins US presidential elections. The second headline is specific and leaves no room for confusion if we read that. And readers immediately know who the headline is about. The next one is be specific, not vague. Vague headlines lack impact and can leave readers with more questions than answers. The key is to be as specific as possible. Just like, for example, government announces help for farmers. And if we correct that, DA releases 5 billion peso aid to rice farmers affected by El Nino. In the correct version, the reader knows the exact agency involved, the amount of aid, the beneficiaries, and the reason behind the assistance. Tip number 3, or the next tip, is use humor or puns only when appropriate. Remember that. A witty or humorous headline can be memorable, but it's not always suitable. Avoid using humor during sensitive or tragic events. Here's an example. Typhoon wreaks havoc, blows away hopes in Visayas. And if we correct that, it can be typhoon devastates Visayas, leaving widespread destruction. The next one is number formatting. You have to remember the rule for numbers. Number 1 to 9 are written out in words. And then number 10 and above are written in figures. For example, 3 houses damaged in fire. So you have to write the number 3. While 15 new COVID-19 cases reported. So you have to write the number 15 in figure. Okay? So we also have the proper capitalization. Capitalize proper nouns like names, places, and specific titles. Keep common nouns in lowercase. So we have one example here. For example, Mayor Robredo delivers state of the city address. The city council approved the budget. So these are the example. And the other tips is avoid abbreviation or using abbreviations. Spell out terms instead of using informal abbreviations. For example, depth, period, of agriculture launches program. And if we correct that headline, it can be Department of Agriculture launches program. However, acronyms of well-known institutions or organizations like DOH or DepEd or the DA in our previous example can remain in capital letters without periods. And the next one is the use of junior and senior in names. When referring to individuals, using junior or senior is allowed. and helps to identify them correctly. For example, this is therefore just for a context or example. Jose Rizal Jr. advocates for education reform. And the next one is no unknown names in leads, of course. In the opening sentence, avoid mentioning people whose names are unfamiliar to readers. You have to provide context or use their title or role instead. For example, Juan de la Cruz speaks at event. And if we correct that, it will become local business leader advocates for sustainable practices. Following these guidelines will ensure your headlines are specific, clear, and engaging. Always remember that practice makes better. So keep these tips in mind and happy writing. Now let's go back to our question a while ago. Is copy editing still necessary when Spellcheck is readily available? Do we still need to condense headlines when fonts can be resized instantly? And my answer to that is absolutely. Copy editing is still necessary, perhaps more than ever. Spellcheck can catch obvious typos, sure, but it has no sense of tone, nuance, or context. It won't pause to question whether a sentence truly sings or whether a subtle word choice could shift the entire meaning. Spellcheck doesn't notice when sentence reads awkwardly or when jargon clouds clarity. And when it comes to headlines, do we still need to condense headlines? They're not just about squeezing words into space. They're about striking a chord, sparking curiosity, and demanding attention. Because as we all know, that headline always catches the attention of the readers or the audiences. Even in a digital world where fonts can stretch and shrink, the challenge remains. How do you distill an entire story in a few magnetic words? There is an art to it. A heartbeat that no algorithm can replicate. Editors bring something immeasurable. Remember that. They ask, does this feel right? Does it resonate? Is it honest? In a time where content floods our screens, thoughtful editing ensures that what we read still has integrity, power, and soul.
In my perspective, even with the presence of these advanced tools like spell checkers and the ability to instantly resize fonts, copy editing remains essential. While spell check catches basic errors, it often misses the factual inaccuracies, tone issues, and nuanced mistakes that only a human editor can spot. Likewise, even if fonts can be resized instantly, condensing headlines is still necessary to capture readers' attention quickly, improve readability, and ensure clarity, especially in an age where people consume information rapidly on mobile devices. It is true that technology can assist us, but it cannot replace the critical thinking, intuition, and judgment that a human editor brings to the table.
Yes, absolutely. Spell check is useful, but it's no substitute for a good copy editor. It can catch typos, but it won't notice if you use the wrong word in context or if your sentence is clunky. So, copy editing ensures clarity, consistency, and flow, things an algorithm can fully grasp. As for headlines, just because we can resize fonts doesn't mean we should ditch brevity. Short, punchy headlines grab attention faster and work better across different formats, especially on mobile. It's not just about space, it's about impact.
So this is our presentation, our topic for today, copy reading and headline writing. We hope that you have learned from us. Thank you for watching. Oh, don't forget to write your comment on the box below. Goodbye.